Hi, it's Steve with Coin Stuff I Like, and more specifically, Carson City Stuff I Like. And this time I'm bringing you part four of the series that I'm doing on my Carson City collection, whether it's actual coins from Carson City or exonumia, etc. I'll probably get it all covered in this series. This one is again is part four, and I'll be covering trade dollars from 1873 to 1875, the first 3 years of their production. I'll try to keep these videos to maybe 3 or 4 years or coins at most, to keep them a little bit more concise. So in 1873, the United States passed the Coinage Act of 1873, where they essentially did away with circulating silver dollars. They no more silver dollars. We'll have other silver coinage, but no more silver dollars. But in the process, you had this booming mining industry, a lot of silver being produced, and you don't want the silver value to just plummet. So in part of creating demand, and there's other reasons as well. They developed the concept of the trade dollar, which was to be produced for export over to Asia for commerce reasons. So the intention was to have the trade dollar moved over for commerce to Asia. Also, by the way, they and I'll talk about the redesign in just a second, but they made the silver value of a trade dollar just slightly more than the Mexican silver dollar, whether it's the old dollar or the new dollar, 8 reals, etc. It's slightly more silver content, slightly. So that, and at the time, the Mexican silver dollar was the preferred coin for commerce in Asia. So the other part of it, of developing the trade dollar, was to compete with and surpass the usage of Mexican silver dollar in trade for China, to become the preferred coin for commerce. So out with circulating silver dollars in the U.S., in with trade dollars for commerce in Asia. Now, that said, the trade dollar did have $1 value in the U.S. I mean, it was legal tender, but to get trade dollars in the U.S., you had to put in an order for them, and you had to pay slightly more than $1 for the silver. You had to submit $1.02 is what I read, of gold to get a silver dollar, a silver trade dollar. Plus, on top of that, you had to pay the cost of minting the silver dollar. So the bullion dealers, there were orders for bullion dealers, and some of these are kept in the United States. But by and large, they went east for commerce reasons. So now let's get on with the design change. The Seated Liberty dollar was designed by Christian Gobrick. This trade dollar is designed by William Barber. Here's some of the differences. The Seated Liberty dollar, Liberty was facing east, and the trade dollar, Liberty's facing west. So if you're on in the United States and you're using shipping trade, which is the way you traded back in those days, you're shipping across the Pacific to the west. And so Liberty now has an olive branch extended. In God We Trust was made a lot smaller and put at the pedestal instead of the big banner on the seated Liberty dollar. So there are some changes. I really like this particular Liberty design. In terms of the design, they put 420 grains, 900 fine, to demonstrate the silver value, silver weight, again, which was more than the Mexican dollar, which was previously the preferred commerce coinage. And it's interesting that the eagle has changed, but more specifically, the eagle on the seated Liberty dollar was facing to your left. Now it's facing to your right. And then also the olive branch on the seated Liberty dollar was held in the right, and the arrows were held in the left. So they just sort of flip-flop, almost a mirror image, although it's not exactly a mirror image. So they changed the design there of the eagle, and then E Pluribus Unum in the banner instead of the big In God We Trust banner. So there you have it with the design changes and some of the background on the development of the trade dollar. I put this up in my part 3, and I'll put it up again. I apologize for how small things are, but I had to get all the dates in. The trade dollars were first minted in Carson City Mint, first minted in July of 1873. Earlier in 1873, they minted 2,300 silver or seated Liberty dollars. So early on, they minted that. And some of them may have been melted and what have you, but they're very scarce. They're very hard to find at this point in time, those seated Liberty dollars. But in July, they started production. Keep in mind that during this period from 1873 to 1877 and tailing off in 1878, this production period for the trade dollars at Carson City, this was each year was more and more boom from the mining over the hill at Virginia City and Gold Hill. So we had a big increase in production of silver and gold. And, you want to, the folks in Carson City were very happy that, you did away with the silver dollars, but at least you gave us something. And it turns out over the course of from 1873 to 1878, the trade dollar amounted to 39% of all of the silver value or silver weight that the Carson City minted. So 39%, the other approximately 61% was for other smaller denomination silver coinage. Despite this boom and the fact that Carson City was very happy to be producing as many of these as they could possibly provide, the Carson City production was fractional compared to what San Francisco Mint was producing. So nevertheless, they were very happy that they were able to produce a lot of coin, convert a lot of silver into these trade dollars. Now, another note is that Carson City only had one coin press number 1, which is still at the old mint, which is now part of the Nevada State Museum in Carson City, and it's still operational. They'll mint metals about 50 cent planchet size to this day. But there's only one. There's only coin press number one ran from 1870 to 1875. It continued on. It broke down in 1878 because of the repairs and stuff. They limited it to just production of Morgan silver dollars until 1893. So it was used for all types of coinage through 1875, and about midway through 1875, they finally got another coin press. So if you have a coin dated 1870 through 1874, it's definitely produced by coin press number one. Between 1875 and 1878, there's a chance it was produced by coin press number one because there's multiple coin presses. And then after 1878 or 1878 and beyond, if you have a Morgan silver dollar, there's a chance. Remember, there's other coin presses in operation, but there's a chance that it was produced by coin press number one. So only one mint trying to produce all this big expanded need for producing silver coinage because of what's coming out of the mines and also the demand to ship them over to Asia for trade. So there you have it. There's a little background. Let's take a look at the coins. The first one is 1873. Remember, they only started in July of 1873. So this was a lower mintage year. 124,500 were minted of the trade dollars. And of those, 500 to 750 survived. That's what Rusty Go's book says. PCGS, CoinFacts says 500. That is only 0.4 to 0.6%. So most of them went to Asia and never came back. And most of them are lost to meltage or what have you. And consequently, very low survival rate. And this is characteristic of the trade dollars, and you'll see it in the 74 and 75 as well. They used 7 die pair varieties, or they ended up with 7 die pair varieties. This one, the one that I have, is variety 2 of those 7, which is a misplaced date, FS 301. Now, this is sort of an aside. If you buy a coin, check it for variety. This one was not labeled as or attributed as a FS 301. I got it. I looked at it, looked for markers, and it turns out it was FS 301. I sent it back to PCGS to be attributed and reholdered. So of these 124,500 and 500 to 750 surviving, 367 were straight graded by PCGS. And of the FS 301, only 5 are straight graded. So I don't know how many are details graded of the FS 301. Remember, PCGS does not report the details of their details grade. They don't enumerate how many of them there are and whether they're AU details or UNC details, et cetera, et cetera. So we do know there's 5 straight graded of this particular variety, and I've got one more than that in details grade. And as I mentioned in the part 3, for these older coins that are quite expensive, I don't mind if there are details if I'm getting a variety like this, and also nice details on the devices. You can see here some of the design features I talked about earlier: the "In God We Trust" and the pedestal, the "E Pluribus Unum" and the banner up above. Liberty is in a scroll here. Remember, Liberty was in a shield in the seeded Liberty dollars, but now it's in a scroll. Um, and there's what it looks like. You can see some of the cleaning here, which, it's unfortunate someone did that, but they're trying to take care of the coin, I guess. But I'm happy. I've got a variety, and I've got a coin that has pretty nice details. So look at the details on the feathers of the eagle here. And just a close up for the misplaced date. It's the 7 of 1873 misplaced down here. There's serif, and a little hump there. So we have serif, hump, serif here, and here it is, just to point your eyes in the right direction. So this was a nice find. It came in a regular holder, not attributed. I found it, so I sent it in to have it attributed. Nice bonus. The next one is the 1874 trade dollar from Carson City. This one also is cleaned, and it also has a chop mark. This one did make it over to Asia. This one here, no chop marks on this one. So this one may have stayed home and did not make it to Asia. This one does have a chop mark, so it did make it to Asia for commerce. We have a booming mining industry, lots of silver and gold being produced. They really ramped up their production almost tenfold. 1,373,200 were minted. Of these, only about 1,375 to 2,250 survived. Only 0.1 to 0.2% of the original mintage survived to this day. PCGS estimates 1,000, which would be even lower than that. So they're, mintage in the millions, but very few survive. They use 21, or they've identified 21 die pair varieties for production of that mintage. This one here is variety 6, which is a left date and a far right CC, as you will see in the next image. A total of 606 are straight graded by PCGS. Here's a closer up image. You can see some of the hairlines in here, but still very nice details on the devices here and on the eagle. Really nice coin. And down here, you'll see the chop mark. There it is. So, and that's what the Chinese merchants or the merchants in Asia would, when they took it into their shop or their factory or what have you, they would always stamp it as part of their transaction process. 1875, this one's straight graded AU55. They produce 1,573,700 that year. So they're still ramping things up. If you recall, they had only one coin press up until roughly July. It's roughly mid-year that they finally had another coin press to share the load with coin press number 1. So that may have allowed a little bit more production. Of that mintage, 1,800 to 3,000 survived, which again is 0.1 to 0.2%. That's a very low survival rate. PCGS CoinFact says 1,200 is what they estimate. So that's even lower survival rate. They use 16 die pair varieties, or have identified 16 die pair varieties. This one is variety 7, which is a high slanted date and a wide CC. I put down this to make note. obverse one, obverse number one, and reverse number one. They started using a reverse type 2 at the Carson City Mint. There are of these 16, 3 of these die pair varieties used reverse type 2, and I'll go over that in the next slide, how to differentiate. So they're moving from that first design variety, type 1, type 2, or type 1 for the obverse and reverse, to the type 2s for the obverse and reverse. But in this year, they only use a type 2 on 3 varieties. So it's obverse type 1, reverse type 2 on 3 of the 16 varieties. This one is a type 1 obverse and type 1 reverse. So the more common, if you will. 847 are straight graded by PCGS. The AU55s, there's 87 of those, and 311 are higher grades in the PCGS pop report. So here is the coin, a little bit more beat up than the others, a little bit more wear. This one does not have a chop mark. And let me describe what they did, the different types, the type 1 obverse. Type 1 obverse, you can tell, see the end of the scroll here? These are pointing to your left. Well, a type 2 would be pointing straight down. Also, there's 3 fingers here. In the type 2, there's actually 4 fingers. So this is a type 1, and that's what all the Carson City trade dollars in 1875 used a type 1 obverse. On the reverse, the easiest way is looking at this arrow, and look at this arrowhead. It's over the 0. That's a type 1. If it extends over the 2, that is a type 2. There's also a difference in the olive berries below the talons, but this is the easiest way to differentiate type 1 from type 2 reverse. So as I mentioned, 3 of the 16 die pair varieties used a type 2 reverse in 1875 at Carson City. This one is a type 1. So now that I've gone over those details, let's take a look at some video of each of those coins. All right, so here's some video where I could actually rotate them a little bit. Starting with the 1873 trade dollar. Again, this one is cleaned details, AU. So it has quite a bit, very nice devices. It has still has some luster, even slightly reflective fields, as you can sort of see as I rotate it around. Almost a little cameo there on the eagle. Really nice coin. I like it. It's details, but it's what I can afford, and it has a lot of detail on the devices. Still has some luster on it. Yeah, it's unfortunate somebody cleaned it, but it's my good fortune that they did clean it and lowers the price, so I can get a pretty nice coin representing a Carson City trade dollar, right, in 1873. So there's the first one. The next one is the 1874, another cleaned AU detail. It also has a chop mark. Chop mark is down here at around 7 o'clock. And this is another one. It has the fields are pretty nice. A lot of details on the devices. Again, it's AU
detail, so still quite a bit on the devices to look at. Some reflective fields, a little cameo on the eagle, and really another nice coin. It's what I can afford for 1874. It's sure it's details, but it's a Carson City, and it's nice to have. It was used at one point in Asian country, probably China. There's the chop mark. The 1873, by the way, had no chop marks, meaning it probably stayed home and was not used in commerce in Asia. The next one is the 1875 trade dollar. This one is straight graded, AU 55. So again, AU grades has some pretty good details left on the devices. Still has some luster and a little bit of reflection in the fields. I mean, these coins must have been beautiful when they came straight from the mint, before they got any wear on them, before they had any cleaning or commerce activity. I mean, some of them are fairly reflective fields. And again, here's one where you have almost a cameo on the eagle. Very nice reverse. This one also, no chop mark. Pretty nice one. So, sorry about that. Let me get that back in here. So, there you have some video of the three coins.
So there you have it. There is part 4 of Carson City Stuff I Like. Next time, I will bring you part 5, still on the trade dollars, covering years 1876 through 1878. Thank you for watching. Remember, be smart about what you buy, but buy stuff you like. Bye-bye.